I challenge you to show me a marketer that doesn't want to run experiments, right? It's in our nature. And almost by default, when you say the word experiment, it's completely associated with A/B testing. And I love A/B testing just like every other marketer. But having done enough of them in my career, I realize that sometimes they don't get us all the way to the outcome that we need. It turns out that A/B tests are really intuitive. That's what we like about them. But to have that simplicity, they make a lot of assumptions. They're assuming that due to randomization, that these two groups are going to be exactly identical. And that's almost never true. And we try to mitigate that by having power tests and sample sizes that are large enough to kind of overcome that. In paid media, when we do an A/B test, the most common one is a go dark test, right? We just take away media and then we go and observe and say, how much did sales plummet? The problem is that sales don't plummet. They go down just a small amount. And the smaller that amount is, the harder it is to detect that that was truly caused by the absence of media. And for me, this really bothered me. And I felt like the failure rate of go dark tests was just too high. And I felt like that we didn't want to perpetuate that and enshrine it in software. So when we got started at LiftLab, we went out of our way to think about what could be new experiment designs. How could we somewhat retire the A/B test? And what we turned to are diminishing returns experiments. And I'll give you a little bit of an overview. Here, the idea is to go dark and to put pacing on the rest of the spend. And what that's addressing is one of those assumptions of the A/B test. We want to correct it. One of the assumptions is that the marketing happened. It just happened. And those tests ignore the timing of the marketing. They essentially assume that the marketing is equal every day, which is almost never true, or at least I recommend for you to not have it be true. But we want to go a step further and say, let's exacerbate that. Let's put some new forms of contrast on the marketing spend and pull that into our analysis. And really what's happening here is we're graduating from A/B testing to treating these data as experimental data sets that are longitudinal. And once you have opened the door to that, you have a lot more success at understanding whether marketing is effective, but you're setting yourself up to answer a much harder question, which is, now that I know the incrementality, how far can I scale this spend? I can guarantee you that once you have a taste of it, you'll never want to go back.